busted. You're so busted.
The blooper reel. She's making bloopers.
That's right. I'll just fix it.
May I have your attention? If we could go ahead and start finding our seats. Chuck?
Yes. Well, the fog cleared out, and now it's going to be a beautiful day for a beautiful memorial. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Remember, we are always in the presence of the Lord. Heavenly Father, we come to you today, most of all, to say thank you. We say thank you for sharing Gordon's life with us for all the years that we did. Some maybe known him a long time, some maybe only a short while, but his wisdom and his words, Lord, has stuck with each and every one of us who are here today. We ask a special blessing for the food we are about to receive. We ask you to bless each and every one of us who are here today. You got us here safely. We ask you to get us home safely. And especially, we never forget the men and women that serve our country. All our first responders and all those who watch out after us that we don't even realize what they're doing while they're doing it. We ask all these prayers and more in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. I'm going to go and cover that food.
Thank you, Chuck. So we'll take a little break from the program, and we'll have our meal, and then we will resume the program after everyone's had a chance to enjoy the memorial meal in Gordon's honor. Wonderful meal. That was wonderful. And we thank the chefs, we thank the Burrow family for hosting us for that wonderful meal in memory of Gordon. At this time, we're going to call upon Jenny to give her remembrances. And So Jenny, come on up. And the family has also asked me to thank each and every one of you for being here. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your honoring the family by being here.
Well, I'm used to speaking with people, being a teacher. This is not new for me, but this is a little bit different. So again, I'd like to thank everyone for coming today for honoring Gordon's memory.
Up we go!
And being here with me.
Up we go! I'm Daddy, Bobby, there, Bobby.
I know Gordon would have loved us because he loved to party, and he especially loved to eat. And his food was wonderful, and he loved Chuck's food. So, yeah, you got it. And so, I will give you a little bit of history here. I had to type it out in case I couldn't remember all the details. There's a lot of history here counting back 61 years. 61 years ago when I first met Gordon, a young woman I worked with was a friend of Gordon's from church. She was having a party and she told me, I want you to come to this party to meet this guy. He's really cute, is very polite, and makes a lot of money. We were poor. We were both secretaries at BMC at that time, so we didn't make a lot of money, but Gordon did. Gordon was the foundation foreman for Bonnadeli Enterprises at that time. A lot of responsibility for such a young man. I was really impressed. Gordon was at the party. We had just filled the punch bowl, and I was going to take it to the food table. He says, oh, that's too heavy for you. So being as gallant that he was, he carried the punch bowl for me to the table. So it was the beginning of a very long history. He was cute, he was polite, and yes, he did make a very good wage for the time. We became engaged in just 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. But we weren't into jumping into anything, so we were married 2 years later. Gordon, during that time, began and finished the dream house of our present home. Actually, we lived in the mountains for the last 20 years, but we lived in that same house for all that time. It was on an acreage that my father had deeded to me so we could build a home there. So it was really funny. Gordon's cohorts were telling him, you know, if this doesn't work out, your house is on her property, then what are you going to do? So it was crazy, but we had no problems with the property or the house. We lasted, and September 10th in 1966, we were married. We had a lot of fun as a young couple going out weekly, every weekend, with Gloria and George Payne, Teresa and Dennis Roth, and Peggy and Jack Pasquale. Party, party, party. In 1968, I became pregnant with our firstborn, David James. David, will you stand up, please? We had an exceptionally wet year that winter, so Gordon was home all the time. With an excessive amount of rain, house foundations can't be poured when there's that much water, especially in the hard pan of Northwest Fresno, where the Bonnadeli tract was being built in full swing. Gordon paced and paced in the house because he couldn't work. Too much water. He had to go on unemployment. There was so much water. This did not set well with him. Finally, when the rain didn't cease, Gordon had enough, and he went downtown to City Hall in Fresno and applied for a position as a building inspector. He got the job. Gordon worked in that position as building inspector for the city of Fresno until he retired at 65 years old. A long time to be a dedicated and loyal employee. He loved the work and was very good at it. Being the diplomat that he was, he had charisma and rapport it took to work with the public in the sometimes challenging job of being an inspector. So he'd go in and some of these people, they get their back up because they're being questioned or whatever. Well, he always managed to work around that. He was very good at that. He was polite and had charisma. In 1973, we were blessed with our second son, Michael Patrick. Michael, would you please stand?
Hey, Michael.
Everything was good. Big brother David was happy running to get his toys, ready to play with baby brother the minute we walked in the door. But baby brother wasn't ready to play with big brother. Gordon didn't lose any more work due to weather, and life proceeded happily. So if it rained, he sat in the office at the City of Fresno and did plan checking. He was a very good draftsman. He had drawn the plans to our house. We based it on a Bardelli tract home, but we made lots of changes, and he was able to pull that off. We have a copy of those plans, I think, on the table, right, David? So he was a very good architect. Gordon was a busy man with his family and job, and his outside interest in helping support his community. He spent 35 plus years as a member of the Eastern Lions Club. He served many years of that as secretary. Papa Gordon's pride and joy with this group was his annual job of chairing the Eastern Lions Club produce booth at the Big Fresno Fair. His work started when the produce catalogs were mailed out in early August. Every year there was a theme which was named in that catalog. When he got that catalog, he went to work. This is when he started to figure out how he was going to animate that theme. See, sorry, I lost my track here because I was ad-libbing. Okay, the booth not only featured high quality produce from community members, but also was decorated to the hilt with animation. Gordon spent hours drawing out his plans for the animated booth and began to purchase materials needed to build it. So this started in August. In addition to building the booth, Gordon was there to receive the produce, line the people up to work shifts at the fair, be present and have runners for the judging, make sure everyone was fed while they were there working, make trips to the fair during the fair to change out the fruit so it was fresh, take the booth down and dismantle the animation to take home. Afterwards, he organized an awards banquet. All exhibitors in the community were invited. The ribbons that were won were sorted and given to the recipients at this banquet. So it was a huge job. The produce booth made a lot of money for the club, in which in turn was used those funds to buy glasses and eye care for the needy children. And thanks to Dr. Nick, he's the one that I think headed that. It was a huge, daunting job, but Gordon loved working on it. When he became unable to manage the work, he felt lost as the fair neared and he wasn't working on the booth. Unfortunately, Easton doesn't display at the fair anymore, but I think there are plans in the work on this, but I'm not supposed to say. I know nothing. Gordon also worked as a paid on-call firefighter. He did this for quite a while. Both our sons also worked as volunteers at Engine 89 in Easton. There have been many family holiday dinners interrupted when the alarm went off and all three men jumped up to follow on the call. Sometimes they were out all night. It is amazing how time flies in a lifetime. These men were dedicated, so whenever that call came out, they were at the beck and call of our community to serve them. So my sons followed in their dad's footsteps in honoring their community and in service for the communities. As time flies, now we have 4 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren and a third on the way. Wasn't it just yesterday? It was 1966. Papa Gordon was a good father and husband.
It's okay.
He was a man of high standards.
He was a man of high standards and morals that he lived by. Family came first always, even though he was practical and frugal. He would not hesitate to help anyone who needed a helping hand, even the homeless in the Oakhurst Park. with free hamburger meals and new socks and hand warmers in the cold winter time. For the last 3 years, Gordon was dealt with prostate and bone cancer. Many doctor visits, tests, chemo, hospital stays have filled our days during that time. Papa loved living and he fought the good fight right to the end. Papa, we're so happy you got to come home for Christmas and that we were happy and enjoyed the festivities. Good food and family. That was definitely our best Christmas present. Rest in peace, Papa Gordon. We all love and miss you so very much. Jenny, that was beautiful and heartfelt. Thank you for sharing with us. There's probably going to be some repetition because Jenny covered everything so very well. At this time, we're going to call upon grandson David Jr. for his remembrances of his grandpa.
Yeah. Okay, go.
Is now a good time, David?
Yes, yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, sure. Thank you for attending to grandma. That's the best thing.
Okay, through his 87 years on this journey. Some of us are friends, and we're very grateful to be able to call him our friend. Some of us are family. Sons, grandkids, wives, adopted daughters. He's impacted so many people in so many different ways. I did not write anything down, but I just want to make the whole room aware. In 87 years after you're gone, you are left to memories, a table, and a legacy. So let's treat people the way that we want to be treated, which he proved that every single day. I am grateful to have known him for 33 years. It was not enough time. I am grateful to be able to have given him a great grandkid that he loved very, very dearly. I saw the light in his eyes again. I remember when I was his age, my son's age, helping Papa in the garage on a little project. Just the patience he had with me. The same patience that I strive to give my kid. I remember the way he looked at my grandmother, the same way that I try to look at my wife. I am grateful for everything he has ever done and everything that he will continue to do through the lessons that he has taught each and every one of us. And I am beyond grateful to be able to hold his hand as he went to be with our Lord. Thank you, Papa. We'll take it from here.
Those days we had a fairly large budget, and because of Gordon and Mickey and David working with the Lions Club, working with the fire department, the Easton Lions Club purchased a piece of equipment called the Jaws of Life that was used at the Easton station. And I just spoke to Mickey a bit earlier, like the first or second day that they had it, it was used and Gordon was right there using the piece of equipment. So thank you, Gordon, for bringing that to our attention, and we're happy the Lions Club could help. So Lion Gordon was in the Easton Lions Club, I think it was for close to 40 years, if not more. I've been in 44 years, and I almost can't remember a time that Gordon wasn't in the club. He was very active and involved in the club. Not everybody always is, but Gordon was up to his elbows all the time. He was dedicated in every project. Gordon was never our club president because he accepted an even more difficult job. He was our club secretary for at least 30 years. Shortly after joining our club, the secretary position opened and Gordon accepted the nomination, and he continued in that position for the remainder of his time in our club while his health permitted. And just a couple of notes, because of those of you in the audience, I believe his predecessor was Mr. Bill Everson, who was the secretary before Gordon took the job. And his daughter Linda is with us. So, the legacy continues. And also, in the same vein, our treasurer for many years is Ray Moles, and prior to Ray Moles holding that position, our treasurer for a lot of years was Mr. George Nagel, and his daughter Nina is also with us. So again, the legacy continues. Just good memories of the community. The office of secretary, along with treasurer, is probably the most difficult and important office in Lions Club. Lions Club is an international organization and is organized into zones, regions, and districts. Our club does not operate in a vacuum. It depends on the secretary to report everything that we do. Gordon always prepared impeccable and complete M&As. M&A stands for minutes and activities. And his reports were so complete. We were always in good standing, never in arrears with Lions International. It was due to Gordon's excellent record keeping. For many years, the Lions Club published a local Easton business directory. It was created and maintained for many years by Lion Joe Donovan of Argonne Press right here in Easton. After Joe's passing, the Washington Union yearbook class took over the design and layout of our directory under the leadership of yearbook class teacher. It was Martha Ashton. And the reason that Mrs. Ashton took it over was the layout and design for the yearbook, called the Progress, had to be accomplished in like mid-March. And so that left a couple of months till the end of the school year, and the class really didn't have anything to do. So Mrs. Ashton stepped up and became she did all of the design and layout along with her students. She taught the students as a teaching tool. And that worked for many years until Mrs. Ashton retired. And when she did, that was going to be the end of our directory. However, again, the Burrow family stepped up, and Gordon volunteered his family member, Leah Scheidel, to do the design and layout work for several more years. And this is our last directory. Leah did at least 3 or 4 years of the design and layout work. Now, finally, the directory came to an end, and it came to an end because there were so few businesses left in Easton. Actually, it wasn't really an Easton business directory anymore. It was more a directory of businesses that our members had association with. But just to name a few of those businesses that are no longer here, for those of you that are longtime Easton people, remember Kramer's Mobile Service, Easton Brake and Wheel, the Frosty Shop, Jack's Burgers, J&J Service, the drugstore, J.P. Jensen, more recently, Phil's Clip Joint. Those businesses aren't here anymore. But, they were part of our community for many years, and the directory reflected that. So, and actually, when you think about it, even the phone company doesn't even print phone books anymore. When's the last time you saw Yellow Pages? So we stopped publishing the Easton Business Directory, but it would have been 3 or 4 years before if Leah and the Burrow family hadn't stepped up and continued it for an additional number of years. So thank you for that. But Gordon's truest passion was the big Fresno Fair, the Easton Ag Booth. That was Gordon's project and his love from start to finish. Maybe a little bit of repetition here, but in addition to leading the produce gathering, he organized all of the entries and cataloged them so that they could be judged at the appropriate time. But the one function that only Gordon was capable of doing was to design and then build the booth and the topper that it was always animated, and only he could do it. And as Jenny said, he would start early on. As soon as the catalog came out, or the program that gave the theme, Gordon would start to work, and it was many, many months that he would work on it. We as Lions members didn't even know what he was doing, but it would get unveiled, and we'd go to start the construction booth, usually in September, and we'd see it rise. It was always a work of art. According to and he always did it according to the theme of the fair, and he always had animation or moving parts, and that was like his signature.
Mom.
The Fresno Fair had a award that they would give out called the Niagara Award, and it's over here. The Niagara Award was for animation, and Gordon, one year he had a big cotton picker on the top of the booth. Another year he had a Ferris wheel with the produce going round and round. Another year he had a train with the train carrying the produce boxes all around. And we won the Niagara Award many years.
Different hair.
And it's my belief, at least, that we probably should have won it every year, except that I think the fair wanted to kind of pass it around to make it, a little bit fair. But it was always Gordon's passion, and it was always great.
Different bows.
When you walked into the ad booth at the Fresno Fair, your eye would always immediately go to the Easton booth, because Gordon's displays were usually the most attractive in the building. The fair judges, yeah, there we go. Gordon and his family also did more on the booth itself. There was an educational component on the booth, and Jenny used her talent to research and do some of the education, as well as her talent with the artwork that was put on the booth. So that, again, was a huge part of our booth for all those years. We were also judged on the educational quality, and that helped us win sweepstakes many, many times. It's been said that the Fresno Fair ad building has more variety of crops showcased in one place than any other place in the world. Fresno County grows over 350 commercial crops, and is usually the #1 ag county in the United States of America. And our Easton booth was a big part of that showcase every year. The Big Fresno Fair recognized Gordon in 2008 with the induction into the Big Fresno Fair Hall of Fame. Now, usually, the way this is done, this is only the second year, but usually the way it's done is people will nominate individuals. We didn't know anything about it, but the fair administration themselves are the ones who nominated and selected Gordon for that award because of all his contributions. So in 2008, when Gordon was inducted into the Hall of Fame, that year there were a couple of other people whose names you may recognize. John C. Harris of Harris Farms and Harris Ranch Beef and horse racing fame, and Brian Katarian, whose name is on the grandstand of the fair. So Gordon was really in an elite company, and he deserved it. Even after the fair was over each year, Gordon would organize the fair appreciation dinner for all of the community members that donated produce or volunteered to help with the booth. Our numbers in the club dwindled over the years, and we're a pretty small club now, and we were toward the end when we had the booth as well. But Gordon was such a likable person, and he had such enthusiasm that people wanted to help, and community members would come forward and gladly donate produce and gladly work on doing all of the cataloging and preparation of the cards that went into it, and then organized on the 2 days of judging to take the proper booth produce up at the proper time so that we could be judged. And then we would have
I can't do that.
the fair appreciation dinner, and he would recognize everybody by name, and he would give out all of the award ribbons. In fact, I have a few of them here. We we have lots and lots of ribbons, and each one carried a dollar award. Now, the interesting thing about that is, over the 20 plus years that we were doing it, or maybe even more than that, the awards never went up. I mean, it's amazing. The inflation went up, but it got to the point where, you can hardly afford to keep doing this. But Gordon had it all organized. Notice how everything has a label on it. Everything went up at the proper time. He passed it out and he recognized each and every individual. The Burrow family realized their dream and moved to the mountain community of, was it Coarsegold or Oakhurst? Coarsegold, yeah. However, Gordon's heart remained in Easton, even though he enjoyed living in the mountain areas. He came home to his Easton house, and as you heard, he built that house with his own hands, and that was the residence, it is the residence of his grandson, David, that you just heard about. So Gordon's heart was truly in Easton, and he wanted to be there for his final days. And it's also worth noting that his final resting place is Washington Colony Cemetery, which of course is in Easton. And Jenny related to me how special Easton is to the Burrow family. Jenny taught art at the American Union for so many years, and she indicated that Easton is just a special place to the Burrow family. Jesus' time on earth served as an example to all of us to be humble and to serve others. The motto of Lions Club is, "We serve." Gordon did just that. He served his employer, he served his family, and he served his beloved community of Easton. St. Paul tells us in 2 Timothy chapter 4, "I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. And not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing." We can take great comfort in those words of St. Paul. Gordon, well done, good and faithful servant. If anybody has remembrances of Gordon, now would be a good time. And, we don't expect anybody to be orators, but we just love to hear stories, personal stories of Gordon. Anybody? Leah. This is Leah Scheidel. And if anybody comes up, please give us your name.
Knowing Papa was really a special thing for me. I came to know the Burrow family as an adult, and it's been a really healing experience because I have a bad family. Gordon loved people just the way they were. He didn't expect you to be a certain way. He just took you the way you were. Because my family couldn't do that, that's what made this so very healing for me. He used to always tell me that I was the daughter he always wanted because he got two P-tail boys, is how he always said it, so that was our joke. Then I have one little story that was fun, and it's funny to all of us in the family. We were having a hamburger event at home, and we have a water fountain that we put bluing in to keep the algae from glowing. And Papa was cooking hamburgers, and he dropped one of the cheeseburgers on the ground, and he thought nobody was noticing what was going on. And he picked it up, and he walked over to the fountain, and he rinsed it off in the fountain and threw it on the plate to be eaten by everybody. And so that night, there wasn't a single person that ate a cheeseburger, and we're all cheeseburger-eating families. So everybody wanted the plain burgers that night because nobody knew who was going to get the blue hamburger. Thank you for letting me share. Anybody else?
Thank you, Lily. Would anybody else have a remembrance that they'd like to share? Okay, well, again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for honoring Gordon and the Burrow family.